Hello, all my friends out in TV land. This is Senior Issues, etc. I'm your host, Vita Virgin. Hurry up, get your coffee, bring a paper and pencil, sit down. I've got a good show for you tonight. Now, the show I have for you tonight is a lot of information, so you have to pay attention to it because it's important for you to know these things, because I know you know somebody who needs it, or you may need this yourself. Now, this good-looking young man that I have with me has a big job with a really good organization. It's an organization that's called PADS, and he's going to tell us all about himself and all about the organization that he represents. His name is Stephen Love, and we're just really happy that he's here with us tonight. It's so nice for you to be here,
Pleasure.
Stephen. I want you to look right into that camera,
All right.
and first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your family, and we give great big smackaroonies to our family. First, tell us a little bit about you. Look right in the camera.
I would love to do that. Thank you so much. My name is Stephen Love, and I'm a resident here in Lake County. I was born in South Bend, Indiana, but was raised in Vernon Hills, Illinois, just down the street from here. Spent the majority of my formative years in Vernon Hills, Illinois. So I'm loving that I can give a shout out. I love that information because I have a beautiful wife and
What is your
four
name?
kids at home.
Her wife's name.
My wife's name is Mandy Love, and my kids' names is Stephen Jr., Elias Nathaniel, Jade Ruth, and Simeon Joseph. Four kids.
Kiss for each one, right into that camera.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Love you all.
Oh, that's good. So we're happy that you have such a nice family. Now, if you could tell us about this wonderful organization called PADS. Tell us a little bit. We'll tell the camera a little something about it, okay?
Yeah, so PADS, I'm going to give you an acronym.
He's the Director of Development. I neglected to say that. I wanted to announce his title.
Very good. So I'm going to give you an acronym. PADS stands for Providing Advocacy, Dignity, and Shelter. And we work with individuals and families who are experiencing homelessness or a housing crisis within Lake County. So if they are from Lake County and they are looking for assistance, that's what PADS is there for, regardless of the issue. If there's a housing crisis or a family or individual in need, PADS works with them. We have been doing this. PADS celebrated its 30th anniversary last year, so we are in our 31st year of helping individuals and families who are facing a housing crisis, a holistic approach, whether it is just getting them off of the street, giving them a warm meal, or preventing them from becoming homeless in the first place. We do all of those holistic services to help our neighbors within Lake County.
Well, first of all, there's several different areas of homelessness. I know we can't cover every area, there's such a multitude, but let's go through the obvious ones. So tell us some of the areas. I know veterans are one.
Yeah, so the reasons as to why people become homeless, or the reasons why people face a housing crisis, are myriad. There's so many, whether it's our veterans, whether it's a domestic violence situation, whether it's a loss of job, whether it's an addiction issue. There could be a mental health crisis that people are facing. It could be a very large medical bill that people are facing, as the reasons as to why they are facing a housing crisis. There's not just one, and we see them on a regular basis in Lake County. So there isn't sort of a stereotypical person or a stereotypical reason as to why people become homeless or face a housing crisis. There are so many different reasons involved in that.
Well, I know, like we talked before the show went on, I said, what do you feel is really a crucial area of getting to people? And you did discuss that with me. Would you share it with the audience?
Yeah, so a crucial way, I think you're referring to our outreach program.
Yes.
So our outreach program is absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to just shout out Melvin Ford and all of his staff at PADS, and they do a wonderful job of actually going to those hard to reach places, meeting with individuals who may have been without a house for a good amount of time, and they just go out into the community daily, weekly, to reach those individuals and try to bring them services within Lake County. So whether that's parking lot forest reserves, going to one of our shelter sites and working with them, a local library, Library. Melvin and his staff do a phenomenal job in our outreach program of going to where individuals are, reaching out to them and providing assistance there.
Now, at the other end of the spectrum, there's a person that's living in an apartment
That's right.
that is living from paycheck to paycheck.
That's right.
That's having a hard time. Now, what is that program called?
Yeah, that program is called our Prevention and Diversion Program. So we know either by experience or anecdotally or empirically that a lot of people are 1 or 2 paychecks away from facing a housing crisis. And with our Prevention and Diversion Program, the goal of that is really to prevent a person from entering the shelter system to begin with. If we can do that, it saves the individual and the family a whole lot of issues, and we really get to keep the family where they are in that housing unit. So we want to stop them, for lack of better phrases, from becoming homeless in the first place.
Well, right at this point, I think that you should give out the website and a telephone number right into that camera.
Absolutely. So our website is www.padslakecounty.org. So padslakecounty, all one word, spelled out, .org. And our phone number is 847-689-4357. Again, it's 847-689-4357.
Now, if you give that one more time slowly, because people don't grasp it on the first time.
I would love to. Our website is www.pads, P-A-D-S, Lake County, all one word, padslakecounty.org. And our telephone number is 847-689-4357.
Now, what I'd like to talk about a little bit is there's people like right on the edge that they're embarrassed to say that they need any kind of help. So, like if we have people out there that are seeing that, they should encourage them to come in, because do you set them up like with one person that they could deal with? Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely, would love to. First, if somebody's even watching this right now and they're facing a housing crisis, do not be embarrassed. You are not alone. This is a common issue, especially within Lake County. So please, the number I just gave, if you are facing a housing crisis, you know a family or a friend who's facing a housing, please call that number, and we at PADS will do whatever we can to assist them. So do not be embarrassed, first of all. Second of all, Vita's referring to our case management system or program.
I think that's real important.
It's very important. Every person who comes to PADS will receive a case manager. That is a person who will work with them personally, individually, to meet their needs. Because what we know about individuals who are facing a housing crisis is that no two individuals or families are alike. They're not monolithic. So there are a number of different reasons behind that, and our case manager really sits down and works with an individual or family to really try to figure out, A, how they got in this situation in the first place, and B, what we can do to assist them as quickly as possible out of this situation, and C, how do they stay out of this situation forever is the goal. And so our case management system and our case managers are awesome individuals. They're personable, they're empathetic, and they work at PADS because they love the job. And so it's a personal touch that really does get the job done.
Now, I know PADS, you represent Lake County, but each county has some organization. It may not be called PADS.
That's right.
So how would they, if they're in a different county, because part of our viewing audience is Lake County, but we have a much bigger viewing audience outside. So could they contact you to find out in their county? Would you help them?
Absolutely. So what we say at PADS is we work with individuals. PADS Lake County works with individuals who reside, their last known address was in Lake County. However, if there's a person facing a crisis, we won't reject anybody and say, hey, you're not from Lake County, we won't give you the resources that you need. While we provide resources to individuals who are from Lake County, if a person just calls, has no other way to call a different number, call the number I just gave, which is 847-689-4357, and we will link you up and connect you with resources within your own county that will assist you.
Don't you think if they go to the library in their jurisdiction
That's
where
right.
they're living,
That's right. The libraries are fantastic. They're just a hub of resources and support. So the local library will assist you in those areas. I'm sure, I'm certain that they know of a PADS-like organization within your county that can assist, or within your friend's county that can assist. So if all else fails, please go to your local libraries. They are fantastic.
Well, one of the things is, I think that people probably come to you when they're desperate for food or desperate for housing, but how do you get them to line up and stay with you?
Well, we don't want them to stay with us. The ultimate goal is to every person
Get
that
them
we
off
assist.
the street. I didn't mean
Exactly.
it in that way.
Yeah, so we want to get them. We definitely want to get them off of the street, especially thinking back to the polar vortex that we just came out of. We definitely want to get them off the street as quickly as humanly possible. And then once they're with us, that's when we link them with our case management program and our case managers to see how can we keep them out of this.
That's probably
this
a
housing
hard
crisis.
job to do.
Yeah, it's exhausting. But it's rewarding. Our case managers, I definitely think, will agree with that. It's hard, it is exhausting, but it is rewarding to see the families and individuals that they assist.
So you've seen the programs you're putting out, you're seeing them working.
They are working, absolutely. I mean,
You've seen
again,
the results of them.
we see all sorts of results as far as people who come with us, the average length of stay, which is around 22, 23 days. We see all sorts of success stories within Lake County of individuals and families that we're helping.
We're going to go deeper into it, but right now I got Vita's Pearls of Wisdom. Well, one of the things in my Pearls of Wisdom is I want you all to go to the website that's seniorissuesetcetera.org, and that'll bring you into a homepage, and that will show you all the different places that the show is seen. And then there's a little box up there, it says programs, and if you press on that, I think we have about 125 different programs on different subject matters that you could see. Now, one of the subject matters that just came up within my last 2-week cycle is somebody contacted me because they were having trouble that their insurance wasn't covering their medication. So I did put this person in contact with the SHIP representative. Now, if you go onto the program, you'll see where the SHIP representative and the telephone number, watch that show, and that when I put this person in contact, then they saved a considerable amount of money because the SHIP representative shifted them into a new type of insurance that covered all their medication. So some of their medication wasn't eliminated. So that's one thing that I wanted to bring forward, to do that would be helpful for you. And then another thing is that it's good to have it checked out that you are getting the best deal for your money. So it's best to check out all these things. So the website is seniorissuesetcetera.org. So go on there and see. Now, another thing I wanted to talk to you about is in the springtime I use a cane, in the summer. In the winter I use a walker because I have a plate in my leg. Now, I notice a lot of people with walkers, at the bottom of their walker they have a tennis ball. Now, that really isn't as good as what I have. What I have at the bottom of my walker is what they call a set of skis. You know what skis are? Skis are what people go in the mountains skiing. Well, this is actually a miniature ski. And these skis are available at any medical supply house. I know in Lake County there's a medical supply house on Hawley, and they're relatively cheap. I think the cost of them is $10, and it's easy to screw it right on. So that's one of the things. And one more thing I wanted to announce is I'm still looking for more volunteers. I know I'm short 3 people today, so if you want to volunteer for the show, it's 2 shows a month, 4 hours a month. That's not a whole lot of time, and that you can contact me through my website or my telephone number is area code 847-573-1233, and I'm still looking for someone to help me with my computer, and I pay very well for that. So we're going to get back to Stephen right now, and we're going to check on to what programs are going the best at this time. So what are you seeing like for the future? And tell us about the programs that you have your eye on.
You know, that's a great question. I think I'm a little biased, but I think all of our programs are going well. And the people who are within those programs do a fantastic job. But one program I in particular am excited about is our prevention and diversion program because of what it means for Lake County residents. We know that the cost of living...
Tell us the name of it again.
It's our prevention and diversion program.
Okay.
I'm extremely excited about it because the cost of living within Lake County is high.
It's high.
And our residents know that. And so again, if you're 1 to 2 paychecks away from facing a housing crisis, our prevention and diversion program is there to help. If we can't help, we know people who can. So I can just see that program. We have helped so many families over the last 3 years in the upwards of 600 individuals and families, but I can see that program expanding because of the simple perfect storm of cost of living, the lack of wages, and also the lack of affordable housing within Lake County. So all of those reasons come together for a perfect storm of making our prevention and diversion program a worthy cause.
Or do you help educate the person how to live within a certain budget?
Absolutely. So every day at PADS, we have what we call our wellness classes. So twice a day, every single day. And those wellness classes sort of cover the entire person. It's a holistic approach. So some of those classes are finances, budgeting, how to take what you have and budget it so that you can use it in an appropriate way and appropriate means to live. Yeah.
So now people do show up for these classes.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the clients that we assist, I don't want to say that we sort of make them stay within the building to have these classes, but we highly recommend it. We encourage, and our case managers do a fantastic job of encouraging our clients to stay and learn at these classes because they are beneficial.
But you have seen a good success rate on that.
Absolutely. We've seen a phenomenal success rate, and part of that is behind our average length of stay at PADS, and it's around 22, 23 days. Give or take a day or two. All of that information can be found on our website, but it's a tremendous success rate for people who attend those classes and work with our case managers.
Now, you probably could use a lot of volunteers at PADS. Why don't you get a plea out, and what is the requirement for a volunteer?
Let me start with the requirement. The requirement is you want to help, and you want to come out and assist. PADS cannot run as an organization without our volunteers. We see close to 4,000 volunteers every single year from our 15 shelter sites and the sites who assist those sites. Again, we cannot do it without individuals who sacrificially give so much of their time, talent, and treasures to assist their neighbors within Lake County. So if you are looking for something to do, to assist, please contact PADS Lake County. Again, there's probably a passion of yours that can be met by a need that we have.
Do they have to work a certain amount of hours?
No. We have individuals who come out and work for an hour, work for 3 hours. We have our dedicated volunteers who work an actual shift, which is around 4 hours or so. So it's not a certain amount of time. The only thing we ask is that they're willing and passionate about it.
So why don't you give the telephone number and the website?
I'd love to.
Okay.
Telephone number again is 847-689-4357. Again, 847-689-4357. And the website is PADS, P-A-D-S, lakecounty.org. Again, PADS, lakecounty.org. Please go to our website if you're looking for volunteer opportunities.
Now, I know that you did mention that you get a certain gratification from seeing some of your developmental ideas working, seeing fruit on them. Could you talk a little bit about that?
I would love to do that. So I am the director of development for PADS. Basically, I don't want to say I'm the bringing the money guy, but that's what I do for PADS. And people in Lake County are so tremendously generous. I'm gonna just give a quick story about a generosity that we've seen over the last week with the polar vortex. So the tremendous amount of cold weather that came our way, 55 below, wind chill. We had a donor, a generous donor that put up all of our families, PADS families, in a hotel for those 3 days. So the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday last week, provided meals for them and provided hotel stays. So it's a wonderful job to work in this field.
When you say the PADS families, what do you mean by that? Is this the people that were homeless at the time?
Yeah, so those families who are facing a housing crisis, who are working with our case managers who we're working with currently, those families were put up in a hotel for those 3 days during the coldest days over the last 80 or so years, I guess. It was record-breaking. So.
Well, let's start through the steps that a person would have to go through to get connected with PADS.
Absolutely.
First of all, what would they have to do?
Well, a number of different things. So if the first thing is call us if you need help. Go to our website if you need help. If you know somebody that's connected, if you have a phone, please call us. If you go to your local library, please go there and they will contact. So the first thing that happens is the person comes to us is that they go through our intake process.
Let's go through the intake process.
We'd love to, absolutely. So the intake process is very much like they sit down with our intake coordinator, and the intake coordinator just gets some of their demographic information, age, previous address, some basic questions as to how they
a little bit by background.
Little background, exactly, how they came to be in this situation, basically so we can have the information that we need to work with that individual. So that's the first step. They will meet with our intake coordinator, and the intake coordinator will then refer them to what we just talked about, one of our case managers. And the case manager really sort of personally, in-depth, works with that individual or family, provides a plan, gives them a plan to get out of this housing crisis as quickly as possible. Case managers are great. They do this on a regular basis. They check in with the clients. So it's a fantastic program. And part of the case management system is that they attend these wellness classes that I was just referring to.
And let's go through what all the classes are.
Yeah, I mean, they're myriad, they're legion. Anything that you can think about.
Let's go through a grouping so they get an idea what it's all about.
Absolutely, would love to. So again, it covers the whole person. We know at PADS that even though there's a specific reason as to why a person may face a housing crisis, it affects so much of them, from their health to their well-being, to them physically, spiritually, the whole aspect. So we bring in volunteers who will work with our clients on a number of different topics.
So if they need doctor's appointments, you make doctor's appointments.
Yeah, that's actually another one of our programs, Vita. It's called our Healthcare Access Program. And that works with the healthcare side of a client who comes to us, whether that's making a doctor's appointment, making sure they actually go to that doctor's appointment, to transporting them to that doctor's appointment. That's a fantastic program as well.
So you transport them?
Absolutely. So that's one of the things that we do. Again, if they're facing a housing crisis, while some of our clients that we assist do have cars, all of them do not. So the question is, if I have a doctor's appointment that I need to, that will help me physically, how do I get there? How do I pick up my medication? How do I get to Walgreens or CVS? We have staff that will actually drive them to those appointments and to those pickups.
Okay. And so then you find out what their financial situation is. So you have finance classes also?
Yeah, finance, budgeting, planning, how to resume building, how to get another job, an additional job, a different job, working on their applications. Again, if it comes through finances, we have a program through one of our fantastic volunteers that will come in and work with our clients through one of these classes and assist them in that, in whatever situation they find themselves in, however much money they are making or not making, we have volunteers that will work with them in that regard.
So your goal in working with a family or an individual is to get them out of the situation that they're in, that they can function without you.
That's the goal. Simply put, thank you for that. Yeah, we love our clients, we love our neighbors in Lake County, but our goal is that once we help them, we never see them again, because that means that they're self-sufficient. Now, on that point, Vita, I must add that at PATHS, we never say we're out to end homelessness, because there's so many different reasons as to why a person becomes homeless. Some of the reasons we already mentioned: a mental health crisis, a loss of a job, domestic violence. So we don't want to say this is never going to happen, but the people that we help, we want to make them or get them to a point that they can feel confident that they can do this on their own.
Do you have any psychological training?
I don't, in particular,
No.
But we have
for the program,
some licensed staff that work with our clients in that area in general. Licensed social workers that work with our staff, some LCPs that work with our staff, and yes, we do have licensed staff that work with them. The person, Megan Powell-Filler, who oversees our programs, she is licensed as well, and so we just love our staff in that regard.
Well, what would you say the average time is in working with the person? Is it a month, or is there any average time, or is it precarious?
We do have an average length of stay. So I'm going to give you that average length of stay, and just so you all can fact check me, our annual report is on our website. That's where we look back over the year and give you all the statistics that you could ever dream of in our annual report. But the average length of stay is around 23 days that people come to us, and that we work with them and then get them back on their feet and self-sufficient. It's around 23 days. I want you to fact check me, so please view our annual report on our website.
So what we're talking about is a little less than a month.
A little less than a month, exactly.
A little less than a month. So, well, that's a pretty good average, wouldn't you say so?
That's a very good average. As far as PATHS Lake County is concerned, both in the average length of stay and also what we call our recidivism rate, that is, people that we've helped who come back to us, the percentage is way below national average. So we're excited about that. It means our staff and our volunteers are dedicated, and they're helping those in Lake County who really need it.
Now, I had asked you this earlier. Now, what are you the most passionate about in the program? Where is your heart?
My heart's in it all, I guess I would say, to be holistic about it. It really is, and because there really is no more important piece of working with a person, a holistic approach.
Well, just pour your passion right into that camera.
I'm going to pour it in there. I guess my passion lies within the people who assist, so our staff and volunteers, those who sacrificially give of themselves, those who come in and volunteer when it's 25 below, the staff who come in and the volunteers who come in, those who see the need and they meet the need, is what I am most passionate about. Because the need is, it seems like in Lake County is always going to be there, and it seems like we have people, staff, and volunteers who are always there to meet that need, whether it's in our prevention and diversion program, whether it's in our healthcare access program or our outreach program. I'm passionate about the people who give of themselves to help those in need in Lake County.
Well, you and I agree at this time, and I know the crew from the show and your whole crew behind it, that your next year of operation shows a lesser amount of homeless people.
That's the hope.
Than the homeless people that are out there today.
That's right. That's the goal.
So open up your heart, that anybody that needs help out there will contact you. Look right in there, and anybody that needs help will give the telephone number and the website.
Again, let me reiterate, there are so many people. PATHS helped upwards of 1,500, that's 1,500 people last year within Lake County. So let me reiterate, if you need assistance, do not hesitate, do not be embarrassed. PATHS is there to help. Our partner organizations are there to help.
Give the telephone number quickly.
The telephone number is 847-689-4357.
When you out there come to the end of your rope, you tie a knot and hang on. You know why? The best is yet to come. What we want you to do this week is catch the spirit. God bless you. We love you.
And we're out.